Okay, it is on. It is running. Sorry, my camera was frozen for a second there. Um, I want to step away from the whole abortion thing for a minute, and I want you to think about chickens, and I want you to think about PETA, and I want you to think about egg farmers. Right? Now, we all know that PETA, um, they have a core value that pretty much everybody agrees with, that you should never be cruel to animals. You should treat them ethically. Um, even, you know, Islam and Judaism and Christianity say, you shall not muzzle the ox, talk about slaughtering animals in a humane manner. So even the big religious traditions, Western religious traditions agree with them that you should not be cruel to animals. Um, but we also know that PETA goes way beyond what most people agree with. They don't think anybody should be allowed to have pets, no farm animals at all, uh, no horseback riding, no seeing eye dogs, no matter how nice the zoo is, no zoo, no aquarium. So, yeah, PETA goes way, way, way past um, where we would want to take the idea don't be cruel to animals. But, we're all agreed on the basic don't be cruel to animals. And we also all agree that PETA does come forward with some things that do need to be stopped. Every so often, some PETA person will come forward with film that was taken at a slaughterhouse or at a um, industrial farm where they go, look at how these animals are being treated. This is totally unacceptable. And our response is, I'm glad PETA brought this to people's attention. I'm glad to know that the authorities are going to get in there and deal with this because, there are animal cruelty laws that clearly these people are breaking. And, PETA, as much as I agree with when you go out past um, certain things, here, yes, I'm 100% with you, PETA. Thank you so much for catching this. Thank you for dealing with it. Now, I want you to imagine that PETA and some other animal welfare groups come forward and they say that we need a law that when a hen is no longer laying enough eggs to be profitable, that hen must be retired, they call it. I don't know what egg farmers really call it, but we're gonna say retired. That this hen must be retired in a way that does not violate existing cruelty to animals laws. And we might kind of go, well, I thought that already applied. I thought that you already weren't allowed to be cruel to hens that you were retiring. But if you guys say that there's a specific problem, we're gonna trust you that you've found this problem. And certainly, yeah, the cruelty to animals laws should apply to chickens that are no longer laying enough eggs on an egg farm to be profitable. Yeah. Now let's imagine all of a sudden that a whole bunch of senators come forward and they say, no, we don't need this law. No egg farmer would ever, ever be cruel to a hen that was no longer laying enough eggs. It just doesn't happen. These hens are all retired in humane manners. Certainly, no more in violation of animal cruelty laws than how hens are slaughtered to make, your chicken pot pie. There are chicken slaughterhouses and they have their rules that we follow. And these hens are put down the same way. And besides, we're only talking about really elderly hens that are going to die soon anyway. So, what's the problem? We don't need this law. And a whole bunch of these senators were getting together and blocking this bill. And PETA and other animal rights groups are coming forward and they're going, hello, we've got this video of hens being taken out of an egg farm and just chucked into a big crate, pecking at each other and squawking and bleeding and being loaded into a truck and taken off to God knows where. And we have uh, evidence from a dog fighting ring that was broken up where they went in, the police went in and they said, what is this? There's feathers all over the place. And the dog fighting people said, oh yeah, we go to egg farms and we get the chickens that they're retiring and we get them here in crates and we just throw them alive to the dogs, and that kind of keeps their bloodlust up. And you know, so PETA has all this evidence. They have undercover videos they took. They have, cases where dogfighting rings were broken up, and the cops have found out that, the cops have even found crates of live chickens that were about to be thrown to the dogs. So they've got lots of evidence that this is happening. But meantime, you've got all these senators going, no egg farmer would ever do that. We do not need this law. And besides, we're only talking about really old chickens that are going to die soon anyway. Wouldn't you start to wonder about these politicians' campaign donors? And wouldn't you look and say, they get a lot of donation from egg farmers? And their big voting blocks are all agricultural, and maybe there is something to this. Maybe there is a big pattern of egg farmers retiring chickens by crating them up and selling them to dogfighting rings. But certainly, I mean, it's an appalling thing to think about, but thank you, Peter, for finding out about this. We're really glad you were on the ball here. And these politicians need to have their feet held to the fire. How can they defend this animal cruelty? And you would not care how much they say, oh, egg farmers would never do such a thing. Well, then why would they object to the law? If they don't do it, why would they object to there being a law against it? And besides, we're only talking about really old chickens who are going to die soon anyway. Well, does that make any difference in how you treat the chicken? I mean, is it any kinder to be cruel to a really old chicken who's going to die soon anyway than it is to be cruel to a young, healthy chicken? And seriously. And, this would really have a chilling effect on egg farming. Well, the egg farmers already say that they humanely retire the chickens. So how could this have any impact at all on how they farm their eggs? You'd be wondering about these things, wouldn't you? You'd really be wondering what the hell is going on here. Now, let's get back to abortion. Let's get back to this Abortion Survivors Act, where they're saying, oh, these doctors would never abort a viable baby that could live. These doctors would never, never, never deny care to a baby that was born alive after abortion. Besides, these are sick babies that are going to die anyway. If you would not buy those arguments from an egg farmer, why are you buying those arguments from somebody that we already know kills viable unborn babies? Think about it.